Hi my dear 8th standard children, welcome back to our YouTube class. So today we are going to see the second unit from your second chapter, your ecosystem, your third chapter. Okay. So what is your second unit? The second unit is about food chain and energy flow, right? So what is energy transfer and what is food chain, that we are going to discuss in this class. Come on, let's see. So we all know that all living things need food to live, right? So if they are starved of food, they becomes weak and they finally die. So as we have described here, so all the plants, they come under food producers and all the animals, they come under the food consumers, right? So this food relationship exists between the plants and the animals. There is some food relationship that exists here between the plants and the animals, right? So in this relationship, one living thing is eaten by the another. So one living thing is eating the other living thing, right? So here we can see it denotes the arrow mark, right here. So the food chain always shows some diagram, or it represents a picture where the what animal eats, and also it is a process by which what animal is eating and what is it is eaten by. Okay. So here we can see the arrow mark. So arrow mark shows, so this this organism, this living thing is eaten by the next, right? So it means that from this animal, from this living thing, the energy flows, right? So same way we can see some more examples here also. So usually plants, so plants are eaten by human beings, right? So this is a food chain. The same way we can see plants is eaten by deer or rabbit, or it can be sheep. So again these animals are eaten by a lion or a tiger. So this arrow mark, it represents the food chain. The living organisms depend on each other for the food, right? So the same way we can see some more examples like algae. So the algae is present inside the lake or inside the water bodies, right? So this algae is eaten by the insects, and this insects is eaten by the small fish, and the small fish is eaten by a big fish, and the big fish can be eaten by a large fish. So here also we can see the food is flowing like a chain. Okay, so this is a food chain. These are the examples of the food chain, right? Yes. So some more food chain, let's see here. Grasshopper, that is a grass is eaten by the grasshopper. Okay. So grasshopper is eaten by a frog is eaten by a snake is eaten by a eagle. So once the producers are nothing but the plants. So plants, they prepare their own food with the help of the sunlight and air and water, they prepare their own food. So that's why they are called as producers. So producers, so these producers are eaten by the primary consumers. So the grasshopper is a primary consumer, and this primary consumer is eaten by a secondary consumer. So frog is a secondary consumer. So the frog is eaten by a snake. So snake is a tertiary consumer. So we can say frog grasshopper or a snake as a predators. The same way eagle is also a predator. So, it is the top consumer. Okay. So, eagle eats the snake, right. So, top consumer. So, why it is called as top consumer or why it is called as top predator means, so after eagle, so no animal is going to hunt the eagle for food, right. So, once the animal cannot be hunted by the other animal for food, so that animal is considered as a top carnivore or a top predator, right. So, in the same way plants is eaten by a deer. So, after the deer is eaten by a lion. So, here also we can say lion as a top carnivore, because after lion, so lion cannot be hunted by another animal, right, for food. So, lion is considered as a top carnivore or a top predator. Okay. Right. So, we are going to see here the web, food web. What is food web? Food web is nothing but the interconnected network of food chain. So, that is known as food web. Okay. So, what is food web? This is known as food web. So, the interconnected network of food chain, we can see many food chains in this food web. So, we can see all the food web starts with the plants, or it may be a grass or producers, right. So, the plants, they produce their food. So, this food is eaten by many primary consumers. Okay. So, it can be a grasshopper or lizard. So, several animals eat the plants. The same way several secondary consumers eat the primary consumers. Again, several tertiary consumers eat the secondary consumers. So, we can say it is a link between. So, we can say lizard can be eaten by a snake, can be eaten by a frog, right. So, it shows some variety in the, variations in the food, right. So, that is why this is known as a food web. Okay. Right. So, mostly the food chain, they end with the decomposes. What is decomposes? Decompose means once the animal die after, the stored nutrients are absorbed, taken by the organisms, taken by the microorganisms like bacteria and fungi. So, those are called as decomposes. Okay. So, here also we can see it is a food pyramid. So, here the food pyramid is nothing but it shows the primary the producers will be in the base, right. So, from the producers, the primary consumer consumes the energy. So, this is where the energy is flowing like a chain. So, from the sun, the producers, the plants prepare their own food. So, all the organisms, the same way plants need sunlight. So, without sunlight, without the sun, the plants cannot able to prepare their food. So, the energy is derived from the sun by the plants. Okay. So, and prepares its food, and the energy is stored inside the plants. The same way the plants are eaten by the primary consumers. So, the energy is flowing to the primary consumer. So, again the primary consumer, from the primary consumer the energy is flowing to the secondary consumer. So, the same way the energy is flowing till the apex predator. Apex predator is nothing but top predator. Okay. Right. So, next we are going to see about this is the food chain. So, here we can see these are all the abiotic components. So, all the living organisms also depend on abiotic components. So, with the help of the abiotic components, the plants prepare their food, and the food is eaten by the primary consumer, or it can be herbivores. Okay. So, mostly the plant eaters. The plant eaters eat the plants, and the flesh eaters eat the plant eating animals. So, these animals, so some carnivores, or it can be some primary, the secondary consumers eat the primary consumers. Okay. So, likewise the chain flows on. Okay. Finally, once the animal, the top predator, or it can be a carnivore, it dies. So, once it reaches its matured stage, once the animal die after, the animal will fall onto the ground and thereby the microorganisms like bacteria and fungi, they change into, they decompose the animals. Okay. Right. So, here also we can see the food pyramid here. So, the plants are eaten by a rabbit or a cow, and the rabbit is eaten by a snake, and the snake is eaten by an eagle. So, this also the energy is flowing, right. So, the energy flows from the plants till the animals, okay, till the apex predator. Right. So, here also you can see the trophic pyramid. So, what is trophic here? It refers to, so the producers or the first level trophic. So, here we can see, so the producers, that is plants. So, plants are first trophic levels. So, plants, that is producers are the first trophic levels, and the herbivores. So, herbivores are the plant eating animals. So, they get the energy from the plants. So, they are called as second trophic levels. And herbivores are eaten by the carnivores. Okay. So, first carnivores, so they are called as third level trophic level. And this, sometimes these carnivores also can be eaten, maybe small carnivores, it can be a frog or it can be a snake. These carnivores or further can be eaten by the top carnivores. Okay. So, they are top carnivores. So, they are also called as fourth trophic level. So, here this is first trophic level, primary consumers are the second trophic level, secondary consumers are the third trophic level, and finally the tertiary consumers are the fourth trophic level. Okay. So, it can be a lion or it can be a bear or it can be a jackal, okay, right. So, these are all the food pyramid, okay, I mean the pyramid of the food chain. Okay. Right. So, in this class you have learned, so what is food chain? So, food chain is nothing but the interconnection between the organisms. So, animals depend on each other for food, that is known as food chain. So, the food chain shows what is eating what, I mean the animals, whether the animals eating the other animals or not, it will show the chain, right. So, it is mentioned by the arrow mark. So, arrow mark, it represents the the living thing can be eaten by the another living thing, right. So, this is what we have learned in this session. So, first we learnt about what is food chain. So, then we learnt about energy transfer. So, energy is transferred from the plants till the apex consumers, right. So, from the sunlight the plants get the energy and it passes to the other organisms, other animals, okay. And also we learnt about what is food web. So, food web is the interconnected network of food chain, okay. And also we learnt about the trophic levels, and we also learnt about the pyramid. So, usually the top carnivore or apex predators, they stay in the top of the pyramid, okay. So, the bottom will be occupied by the plants or the producers, okay. So, this is what in this class you have learned. So, go through the video again and again, so that you will completely learn about food chain and the energy transfer. So, hope this class is useful for you. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.